Hey everyone, I'm Rave Bay Melissa.
And I'm Fluffy.
And this is Dead Sober Podcast.
And I'm not even high.
Number one, we have a Spotify playlist for this episode and for the previous episode. You can go on Spotify and find us.
Some other announcements is that somebody that I play 7 days with, one of his friends, randomly gets served our first episode and sent it to him because they both like electronic music.
Oh my God, I love that.
We can find some more overlap with gamers and EDM crossover. So isn't there a trope that EDM listeners are former emo and punk music? And
Yes. There's a clear pipeline from when you're a pop punk emo kid to EDM music. There is also a clear track that you usually have to start with, like Millennium or Zed, like whatever the big headliners are, and then go from there.
Awesome. So definitely, let us know out there if you were a former emo pop punk kid as well.
Yes, please.
And what your pipeline was.
Oh yeah, and we'll share our little videos from EDC when they played pop punk music. So she had no concept of the music at all, and so she was a champion. There's a stage called Wasteland, and she was like, I don't know, it sounds scary. Like, didn't really want to go there. And then like the first 3 songs are all pop punk music, and she's like, wait, are these our people? I'm like, yes, these are our people.
Yeah, when I saw the Wasteland stage and the bands that were going to be there, the artists that were going to be there, I was like, this is going to be like an actual mosh pit where people are like throwing around. And then they just started playing like Blink 182 and doing remixes and getting up and like headbanging. There could have been a smashed guitar like vibe, but everybody was just like so happy to be there. And like, no, everyone's like, I'm sorry, excuse me. Like if you bump into it, it's like, this is the most polite mosh pit ever. That day we happened to wear our like all black sort of like strappy chain outfits. I thought that would have us like fit in more at Wasteland, but it turns out people were just kind of scared of us and staring. Like people come up to us when we were in the pink sparkly outfits, but when we wore those, it was just kind of like shifty eyes. And I'm like, okay, like that's weird. So like what I thought that stage was going to be is what people thought about us when we wore those outfits.
Exactly. It was so much fun though. Like it just became like our home base eventually.
All right, ready to get into our topic?
We have a couple of topics. So the first one is the underrated songs that we have. Carnival and Fiend is an underground song. It's not very well known. It is so good. It has some bass in it. And last year during EDC, Alesso played it. I don't know if you realize that, but he played it and no one they were like, oh, this is a great remix, whatever. But no one really caught on that it was that song. It was an underground song. And he just featured somebody.
So he just
random DJ.
Changed somebody's life that day, basically.
Literally, yeah. So that song is incredible. Highly suggest it. In for the Kill, I had to include because it's Skrillex. It's giving 2010. Then we have Lucky, which is a Zed song. It is very underrated. It's on his new album. People felt a lot of ways about the album.
I could not imagine Zed being controversial.
He normally has very like poppy songs.
Yeah.
And it's not like that at all. Especially the first song. It's very like instrumental music-y. Like it's vastly different from what he normally does. So people really didn't like it, but I think it's a great album, honestly. It's better than all his other ones.
Like good growth, too, to expand out. Usually it's the other way around. Usually you get crap for being too poppy and, ooh, you're just playing to the mass market. Is this not what you wanted?
Exactly.
What we asked for?
I know, exactly. Well, yeah, and so people, when I went to go see him, which if you have not seen Zed, he is not overhyped. Really? It is everything you want. That said, when you go, you need to know that apparently he's popular for the 20-year-olds right now. Yeah. And I don't even know how to describe this. So it is the most interesting crowd I've ever been around in my entire life for an EDM festival. So my friend and I got there early. I'm in my mid-30s. My friend is in her late 20s. I'm a millennial. She's a Gen Z. There are Gen Alphas there. And so I was like, are they old enough to know? Yeah, they were. They literally had X's on their hand.
Wow.
Anyway, so while we're there, like I'm wearing, like I'm a very, I try to stay up with the fashion trend. So I'm in like a relaxed jean, and I'm in my fucking 30s, so it's like a black shirt, and that's pretty much it.
Uniform.
And his opener, Ellis, I have no notes.
No notes.
No notes. He was so good. But anyway, so you could tell that the party favors or something was going on because they're all underage. So it's not like they can drink there, and they're all in the front. So by the time Zed comes on, my friend and I, we had gotten there early because we didn't really know what to expect. We didn't know what the crowd was going to be like. Standing in the front with all the 20-year-olds, and it gets wily so fast. Like, people are pushing. I'm like, what is this? And so my friend's like, do you want to back up? Like, do you want to go farther back? And I was like, yes. And so then we just started to look for people who were wearing more clothes. Because apparently...
Smart.
Gen Alpha is us in that they wear nothing like we did.
Okay, so
yes.
it did skip a generation of club outfits.
Everything is short. Everything is skin tight. So my friend and I were like, all right, it's too much. Let's back up. And then we found more people that were wearing clothes, and there was like adequate space. And people were like, oh yeah, come on, super nice. I was like, all right, this is it.
That's hard too because you spend so much time, especially during the openers, of working closer. And just somebody will leave, you take their spot, and you're trying to get as close to the rail as possible. You finally made all that progress, and then somebody in your group is like, I have to go pee. Or, can we go get another drink? Which is why raving sober is great, because you don't have to pee as often, and you don't have to leave. So the whole point of moving forward, you spend all this time, you've prepared, you followed the rules, and then the children are going crazy. So you have to lose all that progress and step back to the people wearing clothes. Never thought that would be how we find our people, but...
You're not really a raver until you're screaming clarity with a bunch of strangers in a room. It was wonderful, 10 out of 10. And then we have Miss You Again, which is Alley Cat. Impeccable. Somebody said that on Twitter that she's like one of the most underappreciated, underrated artists in general, and I think that's true. Her and Lucy, not a lot of people know about Lucy either. She's really pop punk, really dubstep, like way more than Alley Cat is more trap than anything else. Yeah, and so if you haven't heard Miss You Again, highly suggest. So Alive. I don't know if you remember that song from EDC with Gravedigger.
Okay, I remember Gravedigger, like his visuals were the first ones where I was like, how are people not sober? What? This is terrifying. Like, sober.
Yes.
How are people just risking it all and watching this stuff?
Still Into You. Okay, so Cyril, I don't even know, I hope that's how you pronounce that. Smaller artist. You can find him on TikTok, though. An excellent remix. Very trendy, Disturbed, Sound of Silence song. And then it was like poppy. Yep. That's him.
Oh!
So he did that for... This song is the Paramore song as well. 10 out of 10. So those are my underrated songs.
See, The Sound of Silence is the one that's on our playlist for this episode, which can be found on Spotify by searching Dead Sober Episode 02. I've been hearing that one everywhere, and I just couldn't tell if it was multiple people playing it, so I didn't realize that there was actually a DJ behind that.
Next is EDM news. Here's the thing. Twitter is back. I'm never going to call it X.
No, absolutely not.
Twitter is so back. Remember how you texted me and you're like, yeah, the artists are outing themselves?
Yeah.
And it's not just that one person. Like, they all do this. And they do it for every festival. So if you message them and they're going to be like a surprise guest, they'll usually mention you and reply with like the eyes.
Twitter's user base is still mostly just foreign accounts. Very few Americans on it. It's this like little area for them and press to just torture each other.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, what was the big Twitter announcement is this new term?
Yes, so it's called cry banging.
I don't like it already. What does that mean?
It just means that you are headbanging while you're crying. So, do you know who Kai Wachi is?
Yes, that was like the last person we saw at EDC, and we had to leave or we would be left behind forever.
Yes, which is not how that worked at all, but yes. So, he came out with a new song and for the cry bangers. So, it's sad, but it's also heavy at the same time. So, you're like crying and smashing your head. A lot of emotion, so cry banging. So Davin didn't know what it was, but Davin is also one of those people that produces cry bangers.
Interesting. And he didn't know that's what he was doing.
No, not at all. The Great Asian Migration from Dabin to Elenium, because Dabin and Elenium and Isodoc is another one. And so because of that, Dabin is talking about crybanging. They're all like, this is what you produce. Like, you just produce crybangers.
And now he's going to go back self-consciously and figure out how to make other music.
Yes.
But we will find a way to cry
We
to
will.
anything.
Yes. And then the other thing that happens on Twitter is beef, which is my absolute favorite thing in the entire world.
We have to take a pause. Thank our unsponsor. This segment is brought to you by DJ Beef. All right, listeners, we've got something wild for you today. And no, it's not another remix of Sandstorm. It's DJ Beef. The beef stick made exclusively for EDM DJs with hot beats and even hotter takes on Twitter. Each stack packs a punch so you don't have to. There's no need to argue with beef in your pocket, at least not with your hunger. DJ Beef. Stick it to them. Not an actual sponsor or product. Please do not stick things in random places.
We are not responsible. We are not medical professionals. You cannot take what we say.
Also, these are all AI generated images, but then I had to look at, like, even did the label. DJ Beef Sticks. Here's the real beef.
It's between two people right now, Chase West and John Summit. John Summit very publicly just went sober for like 12 days max. We're not talking like a long time. We're talking like 12 days. And he is infamous for being on Twitter and tweeting completely obliterated. He also DJs completely obliterated. Chase West posted this post about going on a bender, and John Summit had absolutely none of it. This was basically what John Summit said. Heard multiple stories about you acting like an ego D-word and people in the industry. Clean up your act before it's too late. Which is wild coming from John Summit.
From Mr. I hold a handle behind the booth and we'll play the same song twice. But then he's like adorable with it. So we all love his catchphrase now because of it. So what is this? I thought Mr. Bagman wasn't about drugs, clean up your act. Like, he even commented.
I don't know. I don't know what that's about. I have no idea. All I know is Chase West's response, which was legendary. It was legendary.
He says, I would like to take a second to thank everyone in my DMs lately. I'm cleaning up my act, and I promise you, the next time you see me, I will be the absolute exact same version you hate. And I don't know what this guy been
we
doing.
Just double down.
I don't know what the beef is. You know, I'm inclined to want to believe that John Summit wouldn't just call somebody out for no reason. But you got to put some respect on that reply of, I don't care.
It was amazing. I don't think it could have been handled better, honestly, if I'm being completely honest. It was the best response ever. People lost their mind. I mean, we're sober ravers, so we go completely sober. There's a lot of DJs who DJ sober. Like, Elenium is very historically sober because he was an addict.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, he was an addict.
Oh, geez. I'm very serious about my job. That's why I became a DJ. Said no one ever.
That's what his entire album is, like, rising from the ashes, literally, because he was an addict and, like, went to rehab, and it was a whole thing.
Okay. So, but also remember when we went to the pre-signing, he was, like, handing out jerseys and you could get special merch. The line through this mall was super long. I'm like, I'll go. And walking down, I'm like, okay, people are still buying things. But there's a guy in a jersey and a backwards hat. I'm like, he might be here. Like, that might be why this line is so long. So I ran back to you and this other random couple that was there. I'm like, guys, is this him? Or is this, but wait, here's another guy that looks just like him. So then any guy in a jersey and a backwards hat, I'm like, is this Elenium? I mean, he's tall. That could be him. The line is long, and no, he is not here.
Because we all wanted the shirt. That was the best part, is like, you're going to end up somewhere in a conversation with somebody, and it's going to be, the only person you probably recognize is Shaq. Everyone else, you're going to be like, I don't know, there's some basic white man. Like, yeah, I have no idea.
I'm going to end up talking to half these DJs just like thinking it's some random person in line because I don't know what they look. I like not knowing what they look like. It's part of like the mystery for me.
It's adorable. It's really cute. So the other thing too, Elev 808 is a jersey company, so they make jerseys for like artists. They're not by the artist. They basically do knockoffs, and their whole thing was they raise money for these charities. It turns out that one of their ex-accountants posted on Twitter and said, you should not buy this anymore because they don't actually donate any of this money. They keep it in their pockets. The internet was up in flames. And they were like, F this group, whatever. They then posted an apology and was like, we've now created an entire webpage to demonstrate where our money has been going and how we have been donating it. And then they just released another, it's a Mac Miller was the most recent one, a Mac Miller jersey that they just released.
Are they actually able to prove it? I guess those organizations would have to speak out and say, yeah, we did get a check and kind of confirm that.
I don't buy from them because I just don't care. I'd rather the money go to the actual artist than some random corporation trying to make money. For like Mac Miller, who's dead, like I don't.
Right. Oh my God. So they're like really.
It took you way too long.
I was like, well, he's not EDM, but I guess like you'll just make jerseys for like other artists. I guess that's fine. No, that sounds very predatory and opportunistic of them too.
Was another scam. So Skrillex is trying, I forget if it was a festival. I think he was holding his own thing. Tickets went live. And do you know what happened with the Taylor Swift tickets? Do you remember?
Yes.
Okay. That happened to Skrillex. So basically, people went to go buy his tickets, and there were none left. Completely sold out. And then the people were reselling them for thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
It's ridiculous. Like, and that's worse than it wasn't just the Ticketmaster normal scams where the artist works with places that will do this. It's random people and other people who know how to program bots and figure this whole thing out. What the heck?
Yep. Yeah. So Skrillex sent out like an apology and basically was like, I'm going to work with people and try to get this under control. But
because the artists are the ones that have to put the foot down. And
it's crazy.
I love this tweet that whoever's trying to sell a GA Skrillex ticket for $12,000, I hope you have pebbles in your shoes for the rest of your life. That's the power of Twitter and being able to have control over things like this is so that we can communicate and talk to each other and find out. Don't buy this.
And then there are 3 new songs that were released.
My God, there's more.
It was 2. Now there's 3. So one is the Kaiwachi song. It was just released today. It's for the Cry Bangers. The second one is called Like This, which Levity plays a lot at raves and festivals. Third new one is called Surrender by Alesso. Also very, very good. Those are the 3 as of right now. But Friday, they usually release a lot of songs. That's why there's going to be more and more every single Friday that comes out. I feel like an idiot because this whole time, when EDC released their playlist, put the question marks in the middle of the eyes. I couldn't figure out who it was. I don't know a single artist that starts with I. I'm an idiot. It's Isonoc. Of course it's Isonoc. The only group that starts with an I. And everyone has known this forever. I did not.
I thought it was a coding issue where if you don't have the font, it'll bring in like squares or question marks. Or I thought there was an artist who's like question mark, question mark, question mark. Like I thought that was their name. And then, but I didn't ask the question because I'm like, this is probably wrong. So I'm not going to ask.
You thought it was question mark, question mark, question mark artist.
You never know. There's so much nonsense in this genre that I was like, maybe someone's name is like 10 question marks. And because they must do it for each character of whoever they're blurring out because sometimes they'll be really short. And then sometimes it'll be like a bunch of question marks. So I'm like, either this is I need the glossary, the EDM glossary to understand this, or they don't know who the artist is and they're like, we're just going to fill this in later. So I'm like, I'm not going to ask the question and wait and see. And then when you're like, hey, we know who the mystery artist is, I'm like, okay, good thing I didn't tell anybody.
There's always a mystery artist? Did you know there's always one?
No, I thought they just weren't done planning yet. So this was
no.
Okay.
Last year was Fred again at Circuit Grounds.
Yeah.
Question mark. And it was in a different place because it's F.
Oh.
So the question marks were in the eyes, and I couldn't figure out who it was that wasn't already listed. It is Isonog, our tips for EDC. The disclosure is we are not medical professionals. This is not medical advice.
At first, we were bringing tiny sealed Advil, which is annoying and gets expensive. But if you just throw it in a bag or bring a small container, they kind of stop caring by the second day.
And why were you taking the Advil?
Because standing is hard. So I thought it'd be a lot of walking. I thought we'd be doing a lot of walking because, medieval fair, Renaissance fair, other activities where you're outside all the time. But it was mostly standing. You have to be like told how to stand. Like, don't lock your, well, okay, let me get my little I had to be told how to stand because you shouldn't like lock your knees, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, and then I got inserts. So that was like the first time I had inserts and stuff too in my shoes, and like the big thick bottom boots are heavy and it is a lot, and there's nowhere to
Yes.
sit. So
No, unless you're
Advil
going to sit
helps.
on the ground.
Advil helps stay up on that. Oh my gosh, the ground gets disgusting.
So two things about that. Number one was my favorite time when you were like, I don't know, I'm starting to get sore, and I'm like, take Advil, and you're like, I forgot I could feel better. And like eventually you got really good at it and you started taking it as you should have.
We set alarms on our phone.
We did set alarms. Yes.
It was
But I was like,
perfect.
you don't, and the perfect example of you don't have to live like this. You don't have to be in pain if you don't want to be in pain. And then sitting on the ground, I think elite level status of what you need to know is, first of all, there is ass everywhere at EDC. No one cares.
Jeez.
But when you're sitting on the ground, like we sat on the turf, and it was horrible on your ass. So this year I have an inflatable that I'm bringing that I can sit on. It's the lifeguard inflatable.
Yes.
I'm not going to blow it up. I'm just going to sit on it like it's a blanket. You can also use your patch, but it's not thick enough for that. But yeah.
Yeah, the turf was stabby, and people are not in outfits prepared for but people were just bare bottom sitting
Bare
on
ass.
just asphalt where people have dropped things.
It's disgusting.
Speaking of
All
other
right,
ways
what else
to
do you
protect
have?
yourself,
Or do you want me to go?
make sure to always bring your allergy medication and stay up on that.
Yes.
So those I kept in the hotel room, but just another thing to remember. Jaeger
spray.
So we will only be.
Do you want to explain the Jaeger spray?
So it tastes like Jägermeister, aka
Yes.
black licorice. So it is disgusting, but somehow I don't think there's alcohol in it. Like no, there's no alcohol in it, but it burns and it's disgusting, and it really feels like you're taking a shot of Jaeger, but it was a miracle to your voice is getting hoarse, and the more you're talking in the dry air and you're singing and yelling over just all the music. So this was like we get back to the hotel and do our shots of Jaeger, aka
And
our
it's
soothing
3 sprays.
spray. And if you like miss, you're like, nope, gotta do better. Get it way up in there. I do have a tip that we learned because usually we're wearing a bunch of bracelets and stuff, and then we're always trying to go back in and grab our little sprouts and things. But since it's on your wrist, we figured to just start pinning them on here, and then it made it way easier to grab and like try to sneak onto somebody's backpack, and you're like trying to make sure their friends aren't looking, and then you just keep the claw open, ready to go. So this was way easier. I do have little turtles this year. I'm very excited.
Oh, they're so cute.
They're so cute, and they're like
so cute.
They're like little glass turtles.
Sprouting is 100% your culture. Like you knew that way better than me. Yes. And I don't think I ever sprouted anybody. I'm just here to provide the sprouts because I bought like a 250 item bag of sprouts.
Insomniac released their own branded sprouts. So there's like the logo on the top, and they've got like little flowers. I know. I'm hoping that that's going to be the VIP gift, because I'm like, don't make me buy this. Like I want to buy it, but like
you're gonna have to buy it.
Hopefully it'll be the VIP gift, and they'll give us their own branded sprouts. I'm like, that's pretty genius.
I want to start functional and then get ridiculously specific, and I'm gonna show you my surprise that you don't know about.
Ooh.
So I introduced you to this.
Yes.
Medical advice. However, boob tape sucks like a lot. Like it doesn't do anything. And you wanted to wear this shirt out last year, and you wanted to wear, like, why don't you just tape it? And you're like, because the tape doesn't ever work. Like it doesn't stay on. And I was like, get this.
Sweat it off. Yeah.
Yep. Just get this. And you're like, this is so freeing. How am I not going to tape myself every single time?
How do I not do this every day? It was better than a sports bra. Like this was more supportive than any, and it just stayed.
I mean, it's gonna mess up your skin, right? Like,
oh yeah, that hurt really bad.
It's gonna hurt when you pull it off, like because it is really sticky. But if you're trying to get through, like I have a bathing suit this year that like is barely covering things. I'm gonna be taping myself with this stuff because it's not gonna budge. Like it doesn't budge with sweat. It's not gonna move. 10 out of 10. And then there's these lovely things that look like a swim cap. So we called these the foot condoms. The foot condoms will save you. So the key to this is double socks. So, which I didn't learn until the last day.
Double socks save lives. I say that to myself all the time when I'm working out and I have like thin socks on. I'm like, okay, because here's another problem. It's not a problem. This will sound totally normal to everyone. That if I wear like thinner, like normal thickness socks, but for working out I need thicker socks because the treadmill or anything like hurts your feet. So I want like a thicker sock or so it doesn't like hit the back of my ankle. So if I'm like, I don't feel like pulling my thin socks off and putting on workout socks, I just grab another pair of socks. I go double socks save lives, and then I wear 2 pairs of socks.
Oh my God.
For double socks saves lives, for EDC mean.
So double socks save lives is for blisters. This is also for blisters and for comfort. So what I was doing is I would do sock, and then put this condom on. And the problem is that it kept sliding down in my boot. And so I had to keep taking my boot off and fixing it because it was really annoying. It took me again until the last day to do what you were doing that entire time, which was sock, foot condom, sock, like a rubber backing so that your feet don't rub on the top or the bottom, and you can move it wherever you need more like squishiness.
Yeah.
But these were on like Amazon, one of the best purchases. The other one that I showed you that we have not used yet are my baby car seat things.
Oh my God.
So this is, okay, so like pretend like I'm in a backpack. This is for baby car seats. They're little. And so when you have your hydro pack, there's usually like a hose and like a button and a clip and like, I don't know how much space there is up here, but we were running into the problem of sweating and then the strap rubbing on our neck. And then we had this like rash
you can feel
the last 2 days. So this is very soft and it's for babies. And so you put the strap inside and then you can put it up on your neck so that it stays up there and it blocks you and it's like soft for babies. Car seat socks.
Car seat sock condoms. Car seat sock condoms, perfectly normal for your baby.
For your baby, it's completely fine. So I bought those this year, so that should be good too.
Oh, I'm excited for those. And because if you guys go check out Rave Bay's channel, she has an outfit review from last year, and that was one of the things is that we had these like mesh tops, and then when you have mesh inside your hydro pack strap, and then they're just rubbing together and creating this friction, and it's so raw. I can like feel the burn now. The other thing that will save us is this Miracle Lover, which is called Maui Babe Browning Lotion. Someone's like mother in Florida told them about this. This will stop every sunburn ever made. It will also make your skin brown. People, when you look at the reviews for it, will be like, oh, it dyed my suit, but then it washes right out. Like, it doesn't actually dye your suit. It's just I don't know what it's doing. I don't really care. It just works. Yeah, not medical advice. Not sure how this magic works. And when you read it, it's like the simplest label. There's not a lot of branding. Not sunscreen. So you should always wear sunscreen,
and you do wear sunscreen on top of it. And then my surprise to you. So one size, you can go in a pool.
What?
And with your makeup on, and it won't move. They came out the glitter version. It is straight glitter.
No.
Straight.
So we don't have to do as much glitter.
I'm still gonna. It's not chunky glitter. It's like light. It's like a light.
Ooh, like a sheen. Like, is it Edward Cullen Twilight Sparkle glitter?
Yes. Yeah. No, wait. That's actually exactly what it's like. Yes, exactly.
I'm a killer. This is the skin of a killer, Bella. I'm gonna need to do that when we have the spray on. For sure.
You will. Now I'm gonna point this out. Now I'm like, do you remember me doing this? You're gonna be like, no, I don't. That's okay. And then my last item is something else that we learned, which was nothing glows.
No.
So like, if you have like a UV, what was the stuff you were trying to get, like glow in the dark or something?
Yeah, I thought, I don't know. It's a rave. It's a club. First of all, it's a club on the Strip in Vegas at a reasonable time. We can walk there. There's gonna be black lights and. No, there's no black lights because there's no roof. You're outside and there's lasers. There's lots of lasers.
There's lots of lasers.
But no black lights. So I had like a lot of cool like paint and stuff, but it just didn't work. And even glow in the dark is tough too because you're not in the sun long enough for it to charge. And even if you like try to charge it in your hotel room, it's just not going to work. So yeah, there's like not a good way to glow other than battery packs and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I got glow sticks because you just have to break them and then they're I just dropped all of those on the ground.
Did any of them activate? Yes. So many close.
You can find us on TikTok and Instagram at Dead Sober Podcast. Don't forget to check out our podcast on iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Spotify, and YouTube. And you can find Fluffy at FluffyDragon0_0 and Rave Bay Melissa at rave.baebay.melissa, Melissa, on TikTok and Instagram. Tune in next week for our next episode on Fridays at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time.